Hello once again, and welcome to Zabbix conference. I hope it will be a great event, as always. And I really hope that you recovered well after yesterday's party, so everything is fine and good. Today, I'd like to talk about Zabbix and share my thoughts about the development on Zabbix and the way where we are and where we are going to. But first, I would like to thank our sponsors. Our gold sponsor, IT Managed Solutions, our premium partner from the United States, NTT Communications, our premium partner from Japan, and as well as the silver sponsor, Systematica and Quadrata, two premium partners from Italy, Xifio, our certified partner from the Netherlands, and Unireda, our old good friend from Brazil. So thank you very much for your continuous support. If you ever organized a conference, you probably know that without support of sponsors, it's really difficult to keep a conference on a good level. Otherwise, we would be forced to, I don't know, to increase the price for the tickets and things like that. Yeah, so we'd like to have as good conference as possible. This year, we have 264 participants from 32 countries. Actually, this is a record-breaking number for the conference. It's a 10% more than we had the last year. And let's have a look. And actually, there are people from different countries, well, Japan, Brazil, obviously, the United States, Canada, and smaller countries like Luxembourg. So that's very interesting. So actually, we have people all around the world, and you will hear not only English language, but some other strange languages all around. Okay, so let's have a look traditionally how top 5 countries of visitor of our conference looks like. We've got 11 from the United States, from Lithuania and France. We've got 12 from Germany. So who is number 3? What do you think? Estonia? No, not Estonia. Lithuania is already there. Okay, let's have a look. Italy. Yo. 14 from Italy. That's very nice. That's very nice. So we've got many Italian guys here. Number 2, what's your guess? It's a good guess. Japan? No? Okay, let's have a look. Estonia. Our neighbors. Yeah. And number 1. So who's number 1? Your guess? All right, yeah, not Luxembourg, it's Russia, so 20 Zabbixers from Russia. Actually, this is the second time in a row, Russia in the first place. So we have many Zabbixers in Russia probably. So this is how Zabbix team looks like, at least this is how it looked like exactly 1 year ago at the last Zabbix conference. Now we have more people in our team, we've got 55 people. In three locations, it's all together, actually in Japan, in Riga, actually in Tokyo, in Riga, and in New York. So if you see someone wearing a Zabbix t-shirt, most likely it's someone from a Zabbix team, but maybe not, yeah? So just come by and ask if you have any questions. So we are here to serve you. We are here to help you with your questions, to respond to your queries, and so on. So have your chance, communicate to Zabbix team, to each other, because there are so many well-experienced guys. They know how to prepare Zabbix to monitor very large environments. They know how to do high availability. They know how to do some redundancy, how to do performance tuning, how to use Zabbix for some specific use cases. So there are lots of Zabbix knowledge concentrated in one room. Now let's share my thoughts about the evolution of Zabbix, how Zabbix evolved during all those years. Obviously, there are a number of milestones. Now, looking at the past, I understand that some events in the past were really, really important for maybe for my future, yeah, and the future of Zabbix as a product. And obviously, it's all started in 1997 when I wrote the first line of Zabbix code. At that point of time, I didn't realize that it's the beginning of something big. Yeah, it's just maybe after 20 years, it would become application that would be used by people all around the world. So it's all started in 1997. Then, 2001, I decided, I wasn't quite sure at the very beginning shall I release Zabbix as an open source software or maybe not, because I already spent some time working on Zabbix, so I wasn't quite sure about it. But at the very end, I decided, okay, let Zabbix be a free software. And I choose a GPL v2 license, exactly the same license as a Linux kernel uses, for example. Yeah? So Zabbix became a free software, and I think this is kind of a birthday for community, birthday for kind of the conferences, birthday for many different things. So then in 2004, Zabbix 1.0 stable was released. Later on in 2005, Zabbix company was established. I think it's really an important milestone, because really, if you have an open source product or a free software and there is a company behind it, it really gives a kind of stability feeling to the customers, to the users. And now, after this moment, I and the whole Zabbix team, actually, we spent 100% of our time improving Zabbix, making Zabbix a better product. So our company is focused 100% on Zabbix, and we don't do anything else. And then in Zabbix 1.8, we included support of Zabbix API. I also think it's quite important milestone, because API is a very nice thing. It really allows Zabbix to be, well, it allows Zabbix to be integrated into maybe some complex environments. It allows Zabbix to be integrated with some other third-party tools like configuration management tools, help desk, ticketing system, two-way integration with alerting, and so on and so forth. So I think these are very critical milestones in development of Zabbix. Obviously, since we have a company, we need to generate a revenue somehow. Yeah, it's really hard to generate a revenue giving away free software. Yeah, so the software is free, there are no licenses, so that's quite a common question, what is our business model? And our business model is 100% is based on providing services. So we deliver different types of services to our customers. We have training sessions. We have support agreements of different levels, from bronze up to enterprise for most demanding customers who requires 24/7 support. And we do it on a global level. So wherever you are, in the United States, in Australia, in Russia, in Western, Eastern Europe, whatever, we do provide our services to you directly or through our network of partners. And you have a choice. You may work directly with us, or maybe order some services and work with the local partner. It's really important. At this moment, more than 50 companies from the Fortune 500 list use Zabbix. Of course, they use Zabbix on a different scale, but I believe it's quite a good numbers and a good achievement for us. There are many companies of different sizes who use Zabbix. You may use Zabbix to monitor just a bunch of servers, a bunch of network devices, like 10 servers or maybe 20 servers. And also, Zabbix scales well up to monitoring of bigger systems, yeah? When you have 10,000 of servers or maybe 100 of servers. And this is just a few of our users and our customers. So you can see well-known names here like eBay or Salesforce, the largest banks from Europe. There are a few telcos, and so on and so forth. Talking about the largest deployments. So we have a number of deployments with a number of devices exceeding 100,000, okay? We have deployments with a total number of triggers and total number of items exceeding 5 million. We have a number of deployments and highly distributed for highly distributed setups with a number of proxies more than 1,000, and in some cases even more than 10,000 of proxies, all reporting to the single Zabbix server. And Zabbix in those environments, in the bigger environments, is able to collect terabytes of data per day. Some time ago, I think it was in the beginning of this year, I was curious. How many users we have? How can we estimate what's the number of Zabbix users? Obviously, we have some stats from Zabbix.com. We have some stats from other resources, but we don't track our users. We have no idea how many users of Zabbix are in the world. What I did actually, I analyzed access log of our repository site, repo.zabbix.com. This is where we keep packages for CentOS, for Red Hat, for Ubuntu and Debian, and then and realized that there are more than 1 million of unique IP addresses going to our repository site. So I think this is, well, quite impressive number. Talking about the business, Zabbix delivers 50% revenue growth on average during all the 10 years. Of course, some years were more successful when we exceeded 50%, like 70% revenue growth. Some years were not that impressive when we had around 30% or 40% revenue growth. But on average, for all these 10 years, we had 50% of revenue growth for the company. And it's really important because this is the resources we may invest in a product. This is the resources we may invest in the people who are working on Zabbix, who delivers a better product for you. Zabbix became, is trying to become a good alternative to existing monitoring tools you may have in your enterprise. Okay, there are some big vendors, and especially those solutions are very well known and popular in the telco industry or finance and banking industry. And what we see quite often is that those solutions, very expensive solutions, when you have to pay on per license basis, are being replaced with Zabbix, and we are participating in a few projects right now, on a big scale project replacing existing kind of monolithic solutions from a big vendors with Zabbix. Now, let's talk about Zabbix itself, the technical part. So I think Zabbix 3.4, which we released a few weeks ago, is the best release ever. Okay? There are so many nice features we managed to include in the Zabbix 3.4. And of course, I thought the 3.0 is the best release ever. 3.2 is also the best release ever. Now we have a new, the best release so far. And today there will be another talk which would cover a new features of Zabbix 3.4 in more details. I just want to point your attention to a few improvements I personally am very excited about. The first one is the dashboards, which really received a very good improvement. So now you can create multiple dashboards. There are some sharing options. You may do private and public dashboards. There's drag and drop capabilities. There are a number of different widgets supported. We extended existing widgets that you used to use for screen creation, and now you can use it for the dashboard. So you may put a different type of information on the dashboard, like maps and graphs and a list of problems, and it's really easy. It's really easy to work, and it's easy to create. Also, what we did to also improve the maps. If you never used maps, so please have another look. Now it's much easier to create a larger maps. Now you have a drag and drop capabilities. You can select the multiple elements. You may do some mass updates. It's much easier to work with maps. Yeah, so please have a look at maps. Please have a look at the dashboards. Those are quite important improvements, and it's just the beginning. I'd like to have more widgets supported by Zabbix. I'd like to have our users and our partners to create their own widgets, but it's coming in the future. Another significant improvement which was introduced in Zabbix 3.4 is ability to work with data of any type in a very, very efficient way. Because for monitoring tool, it's really important to, data collection is a very important aspect. We'd like to collect different types of data. It could be data collected from Zabbix agents, SNMP, IPMI, GMX, data collected using different protocols, could be Modbus or something like that. So it's important to make Zabbix as universal as possible in this context. So what we did, basically created some framework so that you push some data, or Zabbix is pulling some data in different formats from different sources. It could be JSON or XML or CSV or some plain text data or maybe binary data or maybe even images, whatever. And then you just create some kind of transformation rules and you're trying to extract some valuable information out of that data. And valuable information for Zabbix, these are metrics. Because we can use metrics for alerting, we can use metrics for graphs, we can use metrics for basically for anything. So it's really makes Zabbix really flexible. From the other hand, from one hand, from the other hand, it makes Zabbix very efficient because we may actually grab a bulk of data. It's not like making many TCP connections to the same resource. We may just create one TCP connection, grab tons of data, maybe containing hundreds and thousands or tens of thousands of metrics, and then we have the whole logic on Zabbix server side. Yeah, that's really important, and it improves the efficiency of the monitoring very much. And what is really important as well is that we do all configuration in one place. So you don't have to deal with the log files. You don't have to, with configuration files on Zabbix agent side or on Zabbix proxy side. All logic and all transformation rules are stored in one central place in Zabbix database. So you can manage it through Zabbix API or using Zabbix front end. So these changes are made to simplify a maintenance of Zabbix. We want you to spend less time on administration of Zabbix. And when we design a new thing, we always are thinking how to make this new feature easier to understand and easier to use for our users, for users of Zabbix. Well, as I said, there will be more details on Zabbix 3.4 coming today in another talk from our engineers. Let's talk and think about the future. If I ask you, so what is missing in Zabbix? What kind of new features you'd like to see in Zabbix? I believe there will be hundreds or maybe thousands of answers. So some guys would probably want maybe some better performance. Some want to have, I don't know, maintenance on the trigger level. Some wants to have out-of-the-box support of some new protocols and so on and so forth. And actually, the voice from the community is already heard. Yeah? We have more than 10 or 2,000 of feature requests in our tracker. Yeah? 2,000 of feature requests already registered, and we know about all these feature requests. Because when thinking about the roadmap, when thinking about what is missing in Zabbix, sometimes, well, it's quite often this question is quite difficult. There are so many ways we may expand Zabbix to. I'd like to focus just on a few areas that I think needs to be improved in Zabbix. First, I'd like Zabbix to become a single pane of glass for IT infrastructure. Yeah. So if you have some IT infrastructure, you may already have some different monitoring tools. They could be from different vendors, maybe some products from IBM or BMC or HP or SCOM from Microsoft. Maybe you already use some open source monitoring tools. But I like Zabbix to be flexible and powerful enough to communicate to different monitoring tools, to be able to collect events coming from other sources, not metrics, but events coming from other sources, and to be able to create a dashboards. So they would create a kind of a single pane of glass for the whole enterprise. So you see, if you have some problem somewhere, this problem should be displayed and should be visualized in Zabbix. The next thing which I'd like to improve is the root cause analysis. Obviously, it's really important to know when we see hundreds, maybe thousands of problems in a Zabbix dashboard. It's really important to know what's the root cause of all those issues. Yeah. Maybe there is just some single problem that the switch is dead, or maybe we have some problems in the data center, maybe some issues with our networking services, and it's really important to dig and to understand what is the real problem and report about the real problem, not the consequences of that problem. In Zabbix, there are a number of ways how to achieve it right now. Of course, we may use the trigger dependencies. Yeah. I guess there are many people who don't like trigger dependencies because it's not so easy to maintain on a larger scale. Yeah, you create those trigger dependencies, you have to think what is the dependency between one problem and another, so it's not easy to maintain, and it becomes quite a tough task. We have also event correlations, which we introduced in Zabbix 3.2, event correlations on the trigger level, so-called local event correlations, and event correlations on a global level. And I think this is a good start. Yeah, this is a good start, and this functionality needs to be extended. So I would expect that future releases of Zabbix will have a very clear understanding about the dependencies and about the relationship between the different problems. Okay? So in the dashboard, we'll see a single problem, and we can immediately see what's the impact on our infrastructure. Okay? Well, that's really important to understand. And also, I like to introduce some more complex event processing. So Zabbix would be smart enough to do event deduplication, event filtering, or maybe in some cases event enrichment. And Zabbix may consult some third-party tools, maybe configuration management tools, or take information from network topology and provide this information as part of the alerting. That's very critical to have. What else? When we talk about Zabbix, quite often we talk in terms of items or metrics, triggers, host. Sometimes we talk about Zabbix in terms of services. And I really want services to become a first-class citizen in Zabbix. Okay? Now, obviously, you may create services. We have services. Previously, they were called IT services, when you basically specify a tree of your services. We connect those services to the triggers. If something goes wrong, you can see clearly what is the impact on your services, end user services or internal services you provide within your company. But it's not flexible enough. Again, we have a linkage between triggers and services. It's not so easy to maintain. Now in Zabbix, we have a problem tags, and what I would like to see a better mapping between problem tags and the services. You have a service, and you specify what problems affect this service. Problems having which tags or which attributes affect this specific service. It would be much easier to maintain on a larger scale. Out-of-the-box monitoring. Again, you install Zabbix, download Zabbix from our website, you install it. It comes with a number of templates for different types of operating system, for different types of network devices, and actually we extended the set of templates very much in 3.4. Yeah, please have a look. We provide, I think, more than 50 new templates for monitoring of different devices from different vendors. HP, Juniper, it's all, well, almost all the most popular network vendors So it's part of Zabbix 3.4. Okay, and if you use 3.0 or 3.2, you may still have a look at those templates. But still, what is really important to have Zabbix deployed and to be able to monitor your applications out of the box. So you don't have to deal with the different user parameters. You don't have to deal with some modules which are not maybe directly supported by Zabbix. So you're not quite sure if those modules and templates are working well or not, because they are of different quality. So out of the box monitoring is really important. So you install Zabbix and you can monitor your SAP or Oracle or network devices or the whole set of your databases with a few mouse clicks. Performance is another hot topic for Zabbix. What we see, we have a number of customers who has a performance of 50,000 of checks per second on average. Yeah, so these are those are our largest customers at the moment. So on this level of performance we may achieve when we write history and we extensively use triggers. If there are no triggers, if there are no history, we can easily achieve 300,000 of checks per second on a relatively mid-range hardware, so on desktop or of a developer. And obviously there are a number of bottlenecks. Storage, it could be a bottleneck, and it is a bottleneck. Also, there are some bottlenecks in Zabbix itself. Maybe we should rethink some of our design solutions, so we should change our architecture to make Zabbix more scalable. And so this work is already started, and I would expect a quite significant performance improvements in Zabbix 4.0. What else? It is quite important to deliver Zabbix and to, as fast as possible, to deliver new features to you as fast as possible. And also I'd like to minimize this delivery time somehow. Because at this moment we don't support a number of platforms. For example, we don't support OS X. Yeah, we don't have any pre-built agents for Android. We do support Docker. It's still in the beta, so there is no official support for Docker images yet. Yes, we do provide images for VMware, KVM, or other virtualization tools, but still it's not that we recommend to use for production, yeah, because they follow a little bit a different QA cycle. Yeah, it's not so well tested, so we cannot recommend, okay, guys, please use it in production. It's not ready yet for production use. Also, I'd like Zabbix to support more platforms. I'd like Zabbix to deliver pre-built binaries and packages for more Linux distributions and the distributions of other operating systems. So, well, really, we are working hard on delivering more choices for users. Really, the software is free. Okay, the software itself is free. Our services, you also have a choice. You may work with us and get the services from a Zabbix company, or you may get the services from our partners. I'd like give the users also the choice where Zabbix needs to be deployed, and the choice is already there. So Zabbix supports a number of different operating systems. You may deploy Zabbix on Linux, on a BSD system, on Solaris, but maybe not anymore. Solaris probably is not in a good shape, but still, it's really about extending the choices. So that's what we are doing in Zabbix. Okay, thank you very much.
Do we have any questions from the application or maybe in person?
Hi, thank you. Can you please tell me when can we meet ability of NeoScale in Zabbix 3 and 4?
Yeah, so currently the question is about support of NoScale storages. So currently we are working on an Elastic. So I believe Elastic will be added to Zabbix in one of 3.4 releases. I cannot tell you exactly in which one. It could be 3.4.4, maybe 3.4.5, but it is coming. There will be support of more storage engines coming in 4.0 for sure. Yeah. Again, I cannot tell what exactly storage engines will be supported. It's really, we are in the process of choosing a storage engine which really fits our requirements.
Any particular results? Improvements or
Sorry?
any particular results or improvements or not?
We may discuss it later on. Okay, thanks. We tried many different engines. So we had a previous experience with the Cassandra. We tried InfluxDB. Now we are working on Elastic, and there are other and newer engines which we may have a look at. But I'm always thinking, if we select something very new and something quite unstable, will our users be ready to use it in the production environment? Will it be ready for kind of enterprise use? So this is kind of a careful choice. Because if we select something now and we say we support it officially, it will be basically supported forever. So it's quite a big choice for us.
One more question. When are you planning to release 4.0 version of Zabbix?
Okay, so yeah, so we have our standard release cycle. We are trying to release a new major version every 6 months. It doesn't always work well, but still I think that Zabbix 4.0 should be released in the beginning of next year, probably before second quarter of the next year.
Hello. I have a question about database monitoring. Right now, out-of-the-box database monitoring creates many connections to databases. Oracle, for example. Are you going to do something with that?
Yes, absolutely. So
And
there are a
in
number of
what
solutions.
releases?
Yeah. So there are a number of solutions already exist from a community, and a very good solution for monitoring of Oracle, MySQL, Postgres, and so on that maintains a persistent connection to the database. Now we are working on a design for modules. When I said out-of-the-box monitoring on a technical level, it means support of modules. Okay, some better support. So you can create your models, and one of the requirements for those models is ability to maintain a persistent connection to another system. So yes, it is coming, and I think it's. I cannot promise you that it's coming in 4.0, but we are working on this right now.
Okay, thank you very much, Alexei. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.